honestly, there was a point in time in my life where I thought I might want to be a lawyer when I grew up because I had somehow got it in my head that lawyer is one of the only white-collar jobs you can have when you talk like a racist banjo, right? Well, I don't know if it's because of Atticus Finch or Matlock or what it is, but for some reason, people are okay with Southern lawyers. You know what I mean? It's all right to be a Southern lawyer. And I could see myself doing that as a kid. Like, I could see myself walking into court in a seersucker suit, just dabbing the prodigious whiskey sweat from my brow, like from my grandpappy's handkerchief, you know, setting it down, hitting them with some old-timey nonsense. Like, Your Honor, if you think my client's going to spend one more night in the hoose gal, you crazy as a gravy-covered cat in a barnyard full of bloodhounds, you is. The jury's just like, this guy's too dumb to be duplicitous. I inherently trust this man. Not guilty, right?
And the actor who's won more Best Actor Oscars than anyone else is Daniel Day-Lewis. Yeah, he was in a movie one time called The Boxer, where he trained for a year before the movie started filming, and by the end of it, his trainer claimed that Daniel had gotten so good at boxing that he could have been a professional boxer if he wanted to. He's not even athletic. He's just that good at acting. He's good enough at acting that he can act good enough at boxing to beat a professional boxer. Could you imagine how embarrassing that would be for them? Like, so Johnsky, you really looked outmatched in the ring tonight with Daniel Day-Lewis. What do you think happened? Oh man, I gave it my all in there. He was just so believable. Every time he hit me, I thought, that's just how a boxer would do it.
We went to the Vatican on our trip, which as a Jew does feel like a secret mission. I felt like if I made it all the way through without getting detected, I should get to kiss the Pope. And it's just like, mwah, you didn't find me. He'd probably be cool with it, right? This Pope, isn't it still like the cool Pope right now? Isn't it still? Yeah, the Pope was just like that's his energy. He's like, hey, call me Rick, how are ya? Yeah, like, you know, he doesn't do the big hat, he does a little Catholic yarmulke, that's his energy, right? Kirkland signature robes, that's the Pope. You know who I feel bad for is the next Pope. Because he didn't sign up for all this humble stuff. Right? If he ever wants to go back to full Pope hat strength, he's gonna have to do it gradually. Or people are gonna talk. He's gonna have to, every week, wear a slightly bigger hat. He's gonna be in meetings at the Vatican like, okay, so first order of business is, and one of the cardinals is gonna be like, Your Holiness, is that a bigger hat? No. It's a different hat.
The thing I hate most about young people is the way they look backwards. I don't know what they're teaching at colleges nowadays, but I think they're teaching them like the world's only been good for 6 years. And everything before it was sexist and racist. It wasn't. Things just were. And things now just are. And things later will be. That's how it works. Yeah. You can't look backwards and then judge them. And that's what young people do. That's how they look at history. They'll look backwards and be like, if I was alive back then, I'd be like, can I have a word with you, Mr. Hitler? Like, shut the fuck up. No, you wouldn't. And you're stupid if you think you would. You would just be the way the people of your time were, the same way you are now. Like, literally, if I was on this exact stage 20 years ago, and I was like, men can have their periods, you would all leave and be like, I think they let a retarded guy perform tonight. What the fuck was he talking about up there? But no, people still walk around, I've always thought like this, and I knew Gary was a woman from the moment. Like, shut up. No, you didn't. These are new things it's very flustering.
I have a 12-year-old daughter, and she will not shut the fuck up, man. Oh my God. Again, I like her a lot. She's probably in my top 5. I just don't know how to tell her any other way. I don't give a flying fuck about Ariana Grande. And then to offset that, I also have a 14-year-old boy living at the house. You guys familiar with these weirdies? I'm telling you, it's all I can do to keep them off the magic.
I was one friend, I was like, hey, what should I do to get me and my chick sex back on track? He goes, role play. And I was like, nah, that's stupid. And I could tell by his reaction to that he was super into role play. I was like, nah, it's dumb. He was like, oh yeah, big guy, you take yourself so seriously. You're so fucking cool, you can't do a little role play. And that's not the issue at all. Take myself too seriously? I think you gotta take yourself pretty seriously to commit to a fuck character. I don't take myself seriously at all. That's why I can't do it. You want me to not laugh? Like I don't know, a necktie and a horsetail butt plug, and Professor Clippity Clop says, do your naughty girl homework. I don't know. Let's just fuck or break up. I hate this.
That's why I don't like Joe Rogan. He's transphobic. I hate Joe Rogan. And I know a lot of you look like dedicated listeners up front, but I hate Joe Rogan. I think he's a danger to society. I do. I really do. He's always spreading misinformation. I hate him. The only way I would even remotely consider being on his podcast is if he asked me. Other than that, it ain't fucking happening. I'm sorry. For me to abandon my morals, either him or someone on his staff would have to respond to my many emails begging to get on. Otherwise, he can go fuck himself.
Yo, tall dudes ain't shit. Yeah, ladies, that's another short king right there. Tall dudes ain't shit. They're gonna forget your birthday. They're thinking about tall people shit. Their head's in the clouds. You think they're thinking about you and what you got going on? They're selfish. They're like, all right, babe, I'll see you later. I'm gonna go watch a movie and ruin it for everyone behind me. Nah, ladies, you need a short man.
Something I love about New York is it's obviously vibrant citizenry fucking shoving, elbowing down the streets. Everybody's living like a motherfucker. Just children, little old ladies, get the fuck out of my way. And there's this sense of like, hey, move, fuck you! There's a life, there's a vibrancy, and now everyone is doing this, and so you have to go up to people and be like, excuse me, fuck you. Sorry, go ahead.
I poured you a little bit to taste. I was like, why? And he's like, to make sure the wine didn't go bad, dude. Relax. And I was like, wine goes bad? What? How would I know? He's like, you would know. And I'm like, I fucking doubt it. If I ordered red wine and they poured out clear fingernail polish remover, I'd blame me. Do you know what I mean? I'd be like, I said an Italian word wrong and I drink this all night now. And I take the sip and be like, woo! I like how it makes my right eye stay closed. Yeah, you can't get it open. You can taste the Italy in that for sure. The boot, I've tasted the boot of that. Why don't we get another one? Throw that on ice. Yep, I meant this one. This is what I want. I'm like, what happens if it's bad? He's like, you'd send it back. I'm like, I don't have that confidence. To send something, never. If I ordered fettuccine and there was a finger in it, I'd eat around it. You know what I mean? Like, I would. I'd be like, well, they're working hard back there. Don't want to get anyone in trouble on my accord. Oh, for sure, still a 20% tip, for sure.
I brought my son to a comedy festival in Nebraska. It was Johnny Carson's hometown, and I was always such a huge fan of Johnny Carson. I wanted to show my son some history, right? They have a museum there and everything. So we went there, and we had a great time. And on before the first show, we were in the green room. It was me, a couple friends, my son, and then 2 comedians walked in that I had never met, so they didn't know me, and they certainly didn't know my son. And so they thought he was a comedian. And they were like, how old are you? And he goes, I'm 18. They go, oh, you think you're going to go out there and wow the adult crowd with your 18-year-old humor? Yeah? Is that right? Is that what you're going to do? Sure. Uh-huh. Going to tell them about how you live with your parents? And somebody whispered to me, they go, are you going to help your son? And I was like, nah, I sharpen this stick. I know how it pokes. So the guy was just giving it to my son, and he's finally done, and my kid goes, yeah, thank you very much for that. I really appreciate the advice. Do you mind if I say something I like about your act? And the guy goes, go for it. He goes, I really like how you smile at the end of your jokes to let people know they're finished since the punchlines don't do the trick. Everybody slowly looked at me, and I was just like, Daddy raised you right! So thrilled. But that wasn't even my favorite. At the end of the week, there was a former Miss Nebraska there. Just a lovely woman. She was like the town celebrity, so nice. And she invited us all to her home to have a buffet at the end of the week. And so we got there. It was my friend Joe, my friend Phil, my son, and myself, and we got there late. And there were no plates left. And Phil is from Canada. And I only tell you that to let you know that he doesn't care about others. So we walked in, and there were no plates left at the buffet. And there were 3 plates on the kitchen wall. And Phil goes, can I use one of these? And she goes, no, you may not. And he goes, why not? And she started crying. And through tears, she told us this story about how her mom had left Europe with just 12 plates and the clothes on her back. And then she met the husband, and they had 4 kids, and they all got 3 plates. And all 4 of those kids had 3 children of their own, so they were all going to get 1 plate. And Phil goes, is that it? And she goes, yes, it is. And he goes, well, I'm hungry. I'm going to get food. And he turned, but he had a backpack on. And it knocked a plate off of the wall, and it shattered. And the only thing you could hear in the kitchen was the clock ticking and this woman sobbing. And my son goes, God damn it, Phil. Now she's going to have to kill one of her kids. Come on. This lady went from crying to laughing, and she goes, oh, I like you. And my son goes, enough to let me pick which kid? This dude's like a superhero who doesn't know how to use his powers yet. I'm flying. Is that a wall? Smash.
I took a picture, I posted it. Started reading the comments. First comment, dude! Your toes are ugly! You motherfucker. Second comment, why do you have purple shins? You might have coronavirus. I go, what the fuck? Third comment, want a Nike? I go, Mom, get off my Instagram! Now I'm all over social media. I'm on Instagram, I'm on YouTube, I'm on Facebook, I'm on TikTok. I don't even know what I'm doing on TikTok. TikTok is like 3-second videos. I don't know what I'm doing, okay? When I first started doing stand-up back in the day, 23, 24 years ago, they used to say you need to film a 1-hour comedy special, you put it on HBO, people discover you, your career takes off. Then a few years later, they go, you gotta take 5 minutes of the 1 hour, you put it on YouTube, people discover you, career takes off. Then they're gonna take 1 minute of the 5 minutes, you put it on Instagram, people discover you, career takes off. Now they say you gotta take 3 seconds of the 1 minute, you put it on TikTok, people discover you, career takes off. I told Dara, I go, Dara, I don't even know what to do in 3 seconds. I told my son, I go, for 3 seconds, all I can say is hello, goodbye. He goes, that's perfect. I go, how low is the attention span of your generation? He goes, what?
But I would take a bullet for that kid. Instinctively, I would take a bullet for her. I would not take a bullet for my wife. No. Absolutely not. No.
There's like certain accents I will accept for a doctor to have. Is there anyone here from the South? Anyone from the South? Okay, there we go. Where are you from? Kentucky! Yeah, girl. Kentucky. I love Kentucky. It's a wonderful place. You know what? I'll take an attorney from Kentucky, okay? A good attorney from Kentucky. Does this man look guilty to you? Damn it, this is an innocent man. But a doctor? No, thank you. No. Not taking a doctor from Kentucky. Okay, I got your test results. I'm gonna get these a look-see. It says right here it says here that you got the cancers. What? Plural? The cancers plural? What? No. I'm gonna need a second and a third opinion. No, that's not happening. You know what's a great accent for a doctor to have? Irish. Good Irish accent for a doctor. Ooh, you got 3 days to live. You got 3 days. But don't worry, you're gonna be fine. You're gonna be fine. Oh, have the best 3 days ever. The best 3 days ever. Enjoy yourself.
I'm convinced nobody parties harder than the parents of young children. Truly. Partied very hard in my 20s, very hard in my 30s, but that felt infinite. There was no sense of urgency. Now I treat every outing like a jailbreak. I'm just like, barkeep, pour IPAs in me until I fall over. And they're always like, get out of here, you sad dad. You're making everything about this place less cool. And I go, fine, I will get out of here. But I want you to know, not 6 hours from now, I will be bludgeoned into consciousness by two bloodthirsty, ravenous ape boys who will beat on me for the next 12 hours. Because somewhere deep inside, they sense the key to their survival is defeating me, and they're right. I can't see daylight for 17 years, so fight me, fuck me. Either way, I feel nothing at all.
Ready for some fucking crowd work? Too bad I don't do it. Don't do that kind of act. I'm afraid of all of you people. If you see crowd work tonight, that means that something terrible has happened. And then you will find yourself in a comedian destroys heckler video. You've seen those. You've seen those on TikTok. Vertical style, the way comedy was meant to be. Comedian calls in airstrike on the village of Heckler. Not me. If anything, if it happens tonight, there's gonna be a video that pops up and it'll be like, comedian negotiates with Heckler. Comes to reasonable arrangement.
White supremacy is wild to me for a few reasons. First of all, I feel like every white supremacist I've ever seen is pretty much the least supreme looking motherfucker. Like I've never seen an avowed white supremacist and thought to myself, behold, the pinnacle of man. Like it's not a bunch of Hemsworths walking around with swastika tattoos, you know? It's not. Your average white supremacist walks in looking like Busted Magazine's fuck up of the year, 2005. Walks in with a tattoo on his neck of a skull. It's got more teeth than he does. Walks in looking like he's about to invent a whole new type of hepatitis. Ain't even thought up yet. Looking like that, talking about supremacy, I think that's wild. I also think it's wild to keep believing in supremacy considering all the L's they've taken over the course of this country's history, you know? Like, I know it's easy to look around right now and feel like they're doing pretty okay, but really they've mostly lost every major battle they fought up until this point, and they keep talking about supremacy. Like, I feel like the mood of their meetings had to get weirder and sadder over the years, you know? Like, they came into the meeting in 1865, like, okay, so they freed all the slaves. Big whoop. Look, they still can't marry our women. They still can't go to our schools. Hey, how's any of that ever going to change, guys? It ain't like women can vote, okay? It's going to be fine. It's going to be fine. 1965, they come into the meeting like, okay, so they can drink from our water fountains now, so we can't legally harass them just for coming into the same diner anymore. But look, there's got to be something we can do to legally harass these people still. Come on. Jimmy, Johnny, Lee, Roy, Leroy, Ricky, Randy, Billy, Bobby, Mike, Steve, Stuart, Stanley, Danny, David. You guys are cops. Put your heads together. We can figure this out. All right, it's not like one of them's the president. 2008, they come in kicking shit over like, okay, all right, this is a tough pill to swallow, I'm not gonna lie. But look, we gotta focus on the positives, guys. Like, hey, it's not like they're gonna start taking the Confederate flag down, all right? They're not gonna start pulling down the statues or renaming the streets or nothing like that. And hey, gay people still can't get married. That's something, right? Some guy in the back's like, aren't some gay guys white men? Shouldn't they be supreme too? It's like, no, Bobby, they don't count. You know that. Listen, we got to focus on the positives, guys. Like, hey, there's still no blacks in country music. Same guy in the back's like, what about Darius? Shut the fuck up, Bobby. Jesus Christ. Gay marriage gets legalized. They're just smoking cigarettes, staring at the wall. Like, I don't know. Y'all know what transgenders are? And they've been flailing with that shit ever since, but they mostly lose, you know? The other reason white supremacy is wild to me is I feel like I never really identified as white. I'm not about to do some Rachel Dolezal shit. That's what I'm about to do. This will make more sense in a minute, I promise. What I mean is, my whole life growing up poor, rural Tennessee, whenever I heard others talk about white people, in my head that was always like Connecticut, Yacht Club, like Dill. Is that Dill? Like in white people, right? Like white people. And I didn't know what I was, but I knew I wasn't the same thing as them. And it was very confusing to me as a young man. Now that I'm an adult, it couldn't be more clear. I'm not white, I'm white trash. Right? And it's like, and it is different. It is different. There's a whole list of differences. Like, white people got a trust fund. White trash people got trust issues. You know, it's like, white people got a sister who's secretly a lesbian. White trash people got a sister who's secretly their mama. White people play golf with their boss on the weekends. White trash people play scratch-offs with their rent money on payday. It's different. The way they have kids is different. Nowadays, white people wait till they're 35 to have kids. They got in vitro clinics, ovulation calendars, fertility stuff. White trash people more fertile than an Amish cornfield, baby. You can't stop us from having kids, no matter how hard you try. The way they name those kids is different. White parents are like, Braden, Paisley, it's time for your piccolo lessons. Right? White trash parents like, Remington, Bassmaster. Quit exploding them frogs, get in a goddamn house. It's different. I know. I have kids. Of course I have kids. I worry about my kids all the time on account of this trash blood I gave them. You know, like I try to raise them right, but I worry at the end of the day my trash blood will be too much for them to overcome, you know? Like nobody should be forced to be giving my blood, dude. Like the Red Cross looks at my family history and they're like, we're good. Thanks, though. Right? Like, thank God for my wife for diluting it with hers a little bit, you know? But like, I love my wife, but she's from a different town in rural Tennessee. Like, her blood ain't top shelf for nothing, you know? Like, let's be honest. Like, my wife's blood is like boxed wine, you know? It's like, it's nobody's favorite, but people can handle it in a pinch, you know? My blood's just moonshine made in a radiator, dude. Like, it's just poison. That's all it is. Right? So I worry all the time about how my kids are going to turn out, right? But believe it or not, living in Los Angeles has kind of helped me with this because, like, you live in LA, you look around, you see plenty of rich white kids that are all fucked up too, you know? And it makes me feel better. So I'm like, oh, well, maybe it's not about the blood. Maybe it's just a crapshoot either way, right? But I got to say, I feel like that's another way in which they're different is childhood trauma. Because, like, rich white kids are like, yeah, my mother was never very emotionally available, and I've got a lot of residual psychological scarring from that. And white trash kids are like, I got beat with a tire iron. I have actual scars from that. Like, you see that? That's a tire iron scar. That's what that is. I believe that's not cool. You shouldn't do what I just did. You shouldn't, like, diminish other people's trauma just because you didn't personally experience it. But it's a whole thing with poor people. It's so hard for poor people to believe that rich people went through any kind of genuine adversity, no matter what the circumstances were, you know? Like, when all that Epstein shit was coming out, I guarantee you there was people in trailer parks all around this country watching that like, they got to go to an island? I was in my uncle's El Camino. What the fuck? Yeah. Yeah, that one's rough. I know. But yeah, I don't know. Obviously, I'm just trying to be a good trash daddy. That's all I'm saying. Trying to be a good trash daddy. Sometimes I worry I've overcorrected. Sometimes I worry that mine are too California-y, you know? Like my older son, he's a vegetarian for moral reasons, right? Which, like, that's fine with me, but you know what my papa would say about that? Fucking, he'd get canceled for it. I can tell you that much. It wouldn't be good. I just look at them sometimes, I'm like, man, these kids are soft. They're fucking soft, right? But I realize I'm such trash that what I think is soft is actually just a standard middle-class American upbringing, right? Like, that's all it is. Like my wife went school clothes shopping for them, and she let them pick through what she brought home, and she told me, she was like, yeah, they don't like anything in this pile, so I'm going to return those tomorrow. And I was like, what do you mean they don't like anything in that pile? What does that have to do with anything? They know when I was a kid, school clothes came in a garbage bag after my older cousin went back to juvie. I've been a Raiders fan for 30 years because of that motherfucker. Who gives a shit what they like, right? I'll try to roast them some fresh vegetables. I didn't know you could get vegetables not in a can until I was 28 years old. Right? Like, blew my mind. Blew my mind. I try to share this wondrous revelation with my children. I'll roast them some fresh broccoli, cauliflower. I'll church it up, put some balsamic drizzle on it, whatever. They just don't, it don't matter. They're just picky. They just won't eat it. They just don't want it. And I'm sitting there like, I ate squirrels, God damn it. Who the fuck do you think you are? The other day, my 11-year-old got cold in the house, so he just went and turned the thermostat up a little bit. Like, didn't ask somebody nothing, didn't say nothing to nobody. Just walked over and just turned it up. I could feel the souls of my ancestors telling me to slap his ass. But I didn't do it. I didn't do it. I'm trying to be a good trash daddy. I am. I am definitely white trash. I want to tell y'all what I think is the single most white trash thing about me. This is a 100% true story. So my parents got divorced when I was 7, and I know you're like, yeah, we figured. Can't believe they were married at all. But yeah, they were. They got divorced back then, early 90s, rural Tennessee. Parents get divorced. Mama just kind of got custody by default. That's just how it worked, you know. So my mom got custody of us, but my dad was like, okay, but they're going to live with me, though. And the judge was just like, ain't you got a Camaro to work on or something? Fucking just let her have them, bro. Right, but we lived with my dad, and because we lived with my dad, he didn't pay her any child support, because in his eyes, that was bullshit. And apparently, that was bullshit is not a formally recognized legal defense for not paying child support, right? You can't just plead that's some bullshit, as it turns out. So my dad accumulated all this debt to the state over the course of his life. When he dies years back, I had to reconcile all that, which I didn't know was a thing, but it is in the right circumstances. For example, if you owe money to the state. It's like everything with money works the same way, really. It's like, you know how like if you got a lot of money in the bank will give you more money for having all that money in the bank, but if you ain't got no money in the bank will charge you money for not having no money in the bank, right? It's like everything works that way with money, including inheritance. It's like if you're rich and your parent dies, you're sad, but you got a new lake house or the throne of England or whatever. Like there's upsides to it. You know, but if you're poor and your parent dies, you're poor plus they're poor. And I'm generationally poor, dude. I come from old no money. So I was trying to figure out what I was going to do. My friends see this. They become concerned. They're like, damn, man, who you owe money to? I was like, I got to pay his fucking child support, man. They're like, heard that, but I thought you had both your kids. No, not on them, on me. I'm so white trash, I got to pay my own child support. And the worst part is I can't stand this little motherfucker. Always laying around my house, eating up my food, starting fights with my wife, talking shit about me in my own head. He sucks. So I was trying to figure out what I was going to do, and I finally get a call from the state of Tennessee one day. They're being very helpful. They're like, is there anything we can do to help? Like, are there any assets you can liquidate? I was like, what? And they're like, is there any shit you could sell? I was like, oh, yeah. I was like, well, there's the house I grew up in where my Meemaw still lives. And they're like, that's perfect. So what you do is you sell that house, use the proceeds to pay us off, do with the rest as you see fit. And it all kind of clicked for me in that moment. And I was like, so you're telling me that I need to sell the house I grew up in where my Meemaw still lives so I can pay y'all my own child support? And she was like, can we call you back? And I got a call a couple hours later from her manager, and he was like, yeah, listen, don't worry about that. We wiped all that out. We took care of it. And that's the first time in my life that I was like, damn, maybe I am white.
How old are you girls? 40. And you came by yourself? Single. You're single. Divorced? Never married. Never married and 40. I already smell the cat piss. Don't die in that sad cat house. Your poor mom's gonna get a call one day. And they're like, meow, 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 meow. Stop. Slow down. Meow, meow. No. Do you have cats? None. But a dog who loves peanut butter? A drawer in your nightstand that you call the gun shed? Those were all solid guesses, and for the record, she didn't say no to any of them. May have nailed every single one of them. You're enjoying yourself, though. I don't worry so much about you, miss. At 40, you're ready to laugh at this kind of shit. The young white girls is where I get. They're the ones that are gunning for me. And they're gunning hard. And they yell at everything I do. Every terrible thing I've ever been called in my life in comedy has been by a young white girl. Isn't that crazy? Racist? I've been called racist a lot. And only exclusively by young white women. And they call me that a lot. I have learned, though, through the years, white guys, write this down. If somebody calls you a racist and you're not, just know that you're not and walk away. Don't defend yourself. It never sounds great. You're trying to say the right things, but you're panicking, man. Someone just called you racist, so you start firing out, and it's just, I've never had a good one. It's, you're racist. I'm like, what? I high-fived the black yesterday. What? I trust a Chinaman with my clothing? Like, you're fucking racist. I know I'm not racist. I do a lot of racial humor. Why wouldn't I? It's hilarious. We're so different. Remember this couple? But racist? That's a whole different thing. That's trying to get people all charged up about shit. You know what I mean? I'm not trying to get people all fucking... I'm trying to make people laugh together. You know what I mean? I would be as confused as anybody if I did a racial joke and the crowd didn't laugh and instead did this. I'm like, no. What are you guys doing? What are you doing? He's right. No, this guy's right. We need to take back the streets. So like, no. What are you guys? Stop. Let's move. I've been called a Nazi a lot, too. A lot. Probably not the most. But maybe the most of any other Jewish person in history. That's how dumb social justice people are. They just want to call you something so bad that it doesn't matter what it's stupid. And every time a social justice warrior has gone, you're a Nazi, I always say, actually, I'm Jewish. And I swear to God, this is usually their answer. Oh, you think that means you can't be a Nazi? I'm like, yeah, it's like the whole thing, man. It's like the thing. They're puzzled. You think simply because you're Jewish, you cannot be a part of the Nazi party? That's where you're gonna fucking die on that hill? Also, they're calling me a Nazi and they know me from comedy. What comedy Nazi people? That was not even a thing. Hey, Dieter, can you cover my shift to the gas chamber? I have a tight new 5 I want to try on it. Laugh out loud Auschwitz. Oh, it can't be all Holocausting, you know what I mean? It can't be 100% Holocausting. There's got to be the downtime. Can't just kill Jews all day and not laugh once in a while. It's dark. I got yanked off a stage by my ankles in Royersford, Pennsylvania because of a young white woman. Yeah, it's because of her, not by her, thank God. Although that would be way funnier. It was her brother who did it. Her brother yanked me off stage. And they're both pieces of shit, trust. But I do have to say, ever so slightly in this brother's defense, he was drunk and he thought he was protecting his sister. Because in fairness to him, verbally, I was dunking on this bitch. She was dumb as a doornail and just walked into everyone over and over again. Dumb as the day was long. She was on one before I even went on stage, honestly. She was yelling that everybody there was a racist. At this big comedy show. Everyone here's a racist, she says. 22 or 23-year-old white girl. And she kept going on, and I was trying to talk to her. Now, when I see somebody or hear somebody not enjoying a show, and I can see them, instinctually, I always try to talk to them. Now, it's not to, like, humiliate them. I believe there's a misunderstanding here somewhere. I'm not trying to piss anybody off. I'm trying to make you laugh. So if I talk to them, maybe I can get them involved and have some fun. Nah. This chick was wretched. She could not be stopped. And she was like, everyone here is a racist. And I'm like, miss, come on. Like, statistically impossible. It would be a rally. She kept going on and on. And then she kept going into her phone, which is very rude at a comedy show. You could see it. The phone face is lighting up. And I just go, this is where I took my left turn. Point of no return. I go, miss, who are you texting that's so important? And I thought that was going to get a good back and forth going. It was the beginning of the end. She goes, sorry, everyone. I was just texting my black boyfriend, which is a weird way to put it. She's trying to stoke everybody up, but unfortunately, it's not 1951. No one gives a shit. No one's like, what? No! No one gave a shit. Not one person cared. Yet, comedically, She's throwing that lob right over the basket, baby. I gotta knock that down. That's comedy 101. That's an easy one. I'm texting my black boyfriend. I was like, why? Does he make you hit him up every half hour so he knows how long he has to get bitches out of the house? Yeah, she hated it. I thought she was gonna laugh. She hated it. And then I'm trying to plead with her. I'm like, miss, what are you getting so upset about? She's making all the noise. And I'm like, miss, I'm just fucking with you. I don't know you or your boyfriend. I'm sure you're both lovely people. Please, stop being a cunt. Like, I'm trying to work with you and try to just have fun with us. And she goes, sorry, I guess I'm just being hormonal because I'm pregnant with a black baby. And I was like, well, that sounds like your father's nightmare, miss, not so much my concern. Are you practicing your speech on me? Because I don't know if it's gonna go the same. And then her mom chimed in. Her fucking mom was there. But her mom stood up, did a heel turn on the daughter. She turned on her and she goes, sorry everybody, my daughter's drunk and behaving crazy. I don't know why she's acting like this, but she's lying and she's drunk. She's not pregnant at all. And I thought that was crazy. And I was like, miss, is that true? Are you not pregnant? And she goes, that's right, everybody. I'm not pregnant because I had an abortion. And she said it all spooky like that, I swear to God. An abortion. And then I was like, well, miss, for being so worked up about racism, you're the only person here who just confessed to killing a black person, so. And the logic fried her brains, and she screamed for the heavens. And security ran over to her, and her brother yanked me off stage by my ankles. It was worth it. In hindsight, it was worth it.
Before I go, I need to tell you a story about the most embarrassing moment of my life. I was on tour with my podcast, which is a sentence I sometimes think about saying to someone who fought in World War II. And while I was on tour with my podcast, we learned that you get to have a rider. And if anyone here doesn't know, a rider is a list of items that you tell the venue that they will put in your dressing room backstage. And everything that my friends and I knew about riders, we had learned from the book The Dirt about Motley Crue. And if anyone here is too young to know about Motley Crue, they made a movie about Motley Crue, and they had to make Machine Gun Kelly look worse to play one of them. And so we filled that rider with every booze we could think of. It was like whiskey, vodka, tequila, beer, deli platter, beer, rum. And we drank that booze before every show like it was rude not to, right? We got hammered everywhere. And this particular evening, we were in Washington, D.C. And my friend who I do the podcast with had a couple of friends who lived in Washington, D.C. They were two young ladies. And before I go any further, I need to reiterate, I was not married at this time. I didn't even know my wife. But they were two young ladies, and they came to the show, and they were hanging out with us. They worked at a museum. They were getting their doctorates in history. They were amazing. And we were sitting in the green room, and I was talking to one of them, and we were really hitting it off. It was great. I was like, oh, man, this is so nice. You know, you're out on the road. You never know who you're going to meet. And I feel like I'm really connecting with this person. This is wonderful, you know? And she was so smart. She was like quoting all these facts about history, like the Bronze Age started in Mesopotamia in the year 3000, right? And I'm not smart, but I can hang in there. I'm like Jeopardy smart, right? So I was like, interesting. Montpelier is the capital of Vermont. And go on. And we were really connecting. It was very exciting, and it was just nice. And then we went and did the show, and we knocked it out of the park, right? We had a great show. And then those girls, they met us backstage afterwards, and they were like, let's hit the town. And we were like, let's hit the town. So we hit the town, and we went from bar to bar to bar to chicken restaurant that sold alcohol. And at that chicken restaurant that sold alcohol, these two women informed us that they had had a lovely evening, but they were going to head home. And to be honest, I was a little disappointed, right? Because I was like, oh man, where was this going to go? But at the same time, if somebody doesn't want to have sex with me, nobody understands more than I do. In fact, anytime someone does want to have sex with me, I would describe myself as pleasantly surprised, all right? It's the same feeling as when I find someone else's dessert in my Postmates bag, where I'm like, oh, okay. I'm not gonna send it back. So they went home, but my friends and I didn't. We kept hitting the town. And then our evening ended because we went to a bar and ordered 15 Jaeger bombs, and I got us kicked out before we could drink them because I frisbeed a pizza box at a moving car. And at that point, we probably should have gone back to our hotel, but we needed to eat because I had frisbeed our pizza box in a moving car. So instead, we went to a 24-hour Chinese food restaurant. You know the kind. Like they don't exist during the day, right? Like, it's like a Narnia that you can only summon by making decisions that would upset your doctor. It's the kind of restaurant, and I mean this as a compliment, they make food designed to be barfed up 2 hours later. Like the Navy SEALs of food, it goes in, does the job, and then gets out, like they sell orange chicken, tacos, and socks, and like they're all kind of good. They're fine. So we went there, we got our food, we went back to the hotel. We ate it, we went to sleep. And woke up the next morning, 11. And I realized that my phone had died the night before. So we went down to breakfast, and I plugged my phone in while we were at breakfast, and my phone turned on. And when it turned on, I saw that I'd missed a text message from the museum woman from the night before. And I'm going to read it to you right now. It says, "Hey Ian, it was so great meeting you last night. It was really wonderful getting to know you. I don't know what you're doing right now, but I bet it's something smart like reading a book. You seem like the kind of person who likes to read books." I do seem like that. Which is too bad because I wish we were having sex right now. In fact, I can't think of anyone I'd rather be having sex with. I hope I get to see you again soon. Bye. And I read that message to myself, and then I immediately read it to all of my friends at breakfast. And we started celebrating like we won the Stanley Cup. We ordered champagne, we were calling each other sir, it was amazing. And then I realized she had sent that at midnight the night before. It was now noon. She'd been left unread on a sext for 12 hours. And I was like, oh no, I can't let that stand, so I immediately texted her back. I said, hey, casual. It was so great meeting you last night. I would love to have sex with you too. You're so smart and cool. I bet you'd be quoting facts about Mesopotamia the whole time we were having sex. And that would be rad. Hope I see you again soon. Send. Not my smoothest effort. But you know, we were leaving town. I just wanted her to know that like I'd had a great time. I wanted her to know that it was okay. We both had a great time. And then a couple more hours went by and no reply. And I started wondering. I'm like, oh man, this poor girl. She probably isn't used to sending texts like that. She's probably sitting there so embarrassed, right? She doesn't usually drink like that, let alone send messages like that. I better send her another text to let her know it's okay. So I sent her this message. Hey! I hope you don't feel weird. I know sometimes we do silly things when we drink. But I was totally feeling the same way last night. Smiley face, send. The gentleman smiley face, not the emoji, by the way, colon parentheses. And a couple more hours go by and still there is no reply. And then I started thinking, what's going on here? Honestly, my feelings were kind of hurt, right? It's like we were really hitting it off last night. Now nothing? Like, what's going on? I should remind her about how much fun I am to hang out with. How much she was laughing, make a joke. So I sent her a third text message. And it said, oh, ha, I get it. I made you wait 12 hours for a reply. Now you're making me wait 12 hours for a reply. Honestly, I respect it. Winky face, send. And this time I did not have to wait long for a reply. My phone lit up almost immediately with a text message from the museum woman from the night before. And it said, hey, Ian, you sent yourself that text from my phone last night as a joke. You said it would be the funniest way for us to exchange numbers. And I kept telling you were too drunk to remember. But all you said was, no, I'll remember. Just to be clear, I'm not interested in you romantically or otherwise. What does or otherwise mean? You don't want to open a bakery? What are we talking about here? And I knew in that moment I stood at a crossroads. Either I could tell no one that story for the rest of my life and take it with me to my cold, cold grave. Or I could tell everyone that story. Everyone I meet for the rest of my life. And that is the path I have chosen.
Materials, you're gonna contract some flesh wounds. And after a few times, you start to get the hang of it. In woodworking, everybody knows what a chisel is. It's a long, flat piece of steel, the end of which forms a wedge-shaped tip that you sharpen to a very sharp edge, so sharp and strong that you can use it to shave wood like soap or butter. And the first time you do that correctly, you're hooked, you're bewitched. And everything in a wood shop is just some version of that chisel. A saw blade in a circular saw is just 36 little chisels in a machine that spins around. It's all just a form of a chisel shaping wood. And when you realize, I can shape this wood into anything I want to, it's so powerful, and I know that I have a lifetime of study in front of me that will be incredibly pleasing, just like eating pussy. And furthermore, if you have one of these miracle machines called the human body, these things are insane. Have you guys seen shit like fucking... Have you seen crazy like fucking... That's just the tip of the iceberg, ladies and gentlemen. These things are insane. We all have one of these. I can shovel a fucking trench a mile long. I can build a barn. There's all these things I can do, and then there are things that much more talented people can do that are way better than that. But we all have our place, and I just feel like if you have one of these, we're somewhat obligated to do more with it than work out these muscles and these muscles. That's all. I feel like it makes for a much more delicious life, and I can't talk about tips for prosperity without talking about the joy of work. Finding work that you love. It's so sad that so much of our society says, man, thank God it's Friday. Thank God 5 of the 7 days of my life are fucking over because I hate 5/7 of my life. Now I'm gonna spend 2/7 getting drunk at the Olive Garden, so I don't have to think about the upcoming 5/7. Thank God. That's so sad. Find something to do that you love, or at least something you can do that you can tolerate, so that you can then have time to do what you love after work. Maybe it's grow things in the garden or whatnot. Fuck cantaloupes, whatever your thing is. It's your business. I'm not asking questions. But I mean, work is a privilege. You just have to find the right work. I mean, we've got a long life to live, and you can't just like watch videos and hang out in the pool. I've tried that. It's cool for a minute, and then you're super depressed. Like, what am I gonna just fucking lay in the pool? I should be fucking making salad forks. We've lost the notion that working outside and working at things that take muscle or things that get you dirty, we've come to think of those types of work as being beneath us, and that's wrong. Those kinds of work are really noble. It's amazing. Like, don't clap for me, clap for the farmers of America. Because they're still there. Like, there's this huge population that we're not really aware of because they're not on uprocks.com or wherever else we look. They're not there. They're out there, like, shouldering the burden for so much of our country. All I'm saying is that the internal combustion engine, the telephone, the hardline telephone, amazing miracles in their day. But the thing about the phone, when you hang it up on the wall, you then don't come back every few minutes to see if it's gonna do something cool. Of like, no, hang on, you guys, hang on. No, just I wanna see if it's gonna refresh or... I know, I wanna come play baseball too, but there might be a worthy distraction. You guys go ahead. That's all I'm saying, is baseball is better. And then waiting for that. Get your hands dirty. Make shit with your hands. Give excellent head. Get a hobby. By the way, I had a little news. I've heard some rumblings. I just want to take a brief moment to say something to the gentleman. If a lady says to you, I can't wait to get your dick in my mouth. I love to suck your dick. She is lying to you. She's telling you a beautiful lie. She's giving you a generous gift. You need to reciprocate that shit. You guys, it's a relationship. It's absolutely equal. When you think about it, a dick is like a thumb with a pee hole. How good can your thumb taste? You know, they're not sitting at work thinking, man, I want to fucking get Eric's dick in my mouth ASAP. I just love the way his dick tastes. That's false. They're giving you a gift, guys. Give it back. It's only fair. I wish this song was about eating pussy. Just wrote this. On the internet, it's all intersect.
But not every opinion is rendered.
Stop the audio. Shut it down now.
Why? Who the hell are you?
I'm an intellectual property attorney, and you have stolen my client's melody.
No, but it falls under parody.
Biggest misconception in the world. Now, you can change all the lyrics you want, but that tune of notes belongs to the cash estate. Your musical plagiarism is perfectly actionable.
Actionable?
It means I'm able to take action, which is what we're doing. I'm sorry, but my hands are bound.
Is actionable a word?
Actionable, yes, it's a word.
In Cambridge, perhaps.
It's a word.
What you're saying is talkingable.
The tune of your song, I Stay Offline, that we just interrupted, is obviously recognizable as I Walk the Line by Johnny Cash.
I really think Johnny Cash would enjoy my song wholeheartedly. It's about getting off the computer and going outside and respecting life and tasting.
Please, stop saying tasting. I'm not interested in your blue, prurient language. Oh, for example, may I draw your attention, please, to the line, quote, my wife and I will use one another like whores. Whores, Mr. Offerman? What is that poetry meant to evoke? Love or laughter? Perhaps you're right. Maybe he would have taken pleasure in your particularly vermilion tint of smut. Maybe his family is better off without his disgusting habits of rutting and buggery and whatever other Pink Floyd scenarios he enjoyed. Maybe Johnny Cash was a disgusting monster.
Go on.
You know, you don't have to hit me for it to be assault.
It's a good-hearted song. It's about tasting...
Oh, here we go, Margaret. Exhibit B, quote, my wife and I like to suckle at each other's tits. I jam my balls inside her so deep it gives her the shits. Are you enjoying this? Are you proud of that?
It gives her the shits.
You're laughing.
That's the best lyric in the song. No, hang on, sir. If you'll just let me...
Let you what? Jam parts of you into me so deeply that I too am forced to defecate?
No, God. I will comply with this order. I get it. I don't agree with it, but I will respect it. I just wanted to say that my song is about tasting...
Fine. Tasting what?
Pussy.
A song no one will ever see in this special because it's cut.
They can probably find it on YouTube.
Who are you?
Don't worry about it.
What are you doing?
Nothing.
Why are you looking over my shoulder and winking?
I don't know what you're talking about. It's just you and I here in my wood shop.
Mr. Offerman, if you are somehow suggesting that you're going to inform people that they can search for your songs on YouTube, I must ask you to stop.
The song that I'm legally prohibited from showing you is about eating pussy. Thank you. I thank you. That's what I love about Megan. I was working on that song. I was running her through these lyrics, and she said, oh, that one is pretty good, but I feel like it should be dirtier, like we should be sucking on each other's tits or something. And I said, I fucking love you. And then, of course, I had to top it. And so I said, okay, how about this? And I read her back about shoving my balls inside her. And she laughed so hard she fell on the kitchen floor. And I said, we're gonna stay together forever. You're all right with me, lady. Number 6, go outside, remain. Number 7, avoid the mirror. The mirror, avoid it. The mirror should be a maintenance tool. The mirror should be for checking to see if you have shit on your face. It is not. It has become so much more. It's even more evil than that bitch in Snow White or that even more evil bitch in the Chronicles of Narnia. Because the mirror is a conduit. You can imagine the tunnels that shoot off your mirror and connect with a network that go to all the billboards and magazine stands and advertisements. Bless you. And we've all been programmed for decades with this barrage of messaging so that when you look in the mirror, you don't just see this. You see this, but you also see what you've been taught to compare it to. So I see my face and I see Keira Knightley. And you get stressed out. You don't look like people on magazines. You get upset. It's so sad when you see your friends that you're like, why do you weigh 72 pounds? There's bacon. Like, You go buy shit or pay surgeons to cut your face open and take shit out or put shit in. What the fuck? If you're gonna spend your money, get something that works every time, like bacon. How bad can it be that cutting your nose off and like sculpting it with inorganic shit is being like, oh, thank God. Phew. If you saw me before, my nose was a slightly different shape. But after like thousands of dollars and a painful surgery, now it has a slightly more of a button on it. What's the matter with you? Are you a human being? Then you're beautiful. Do you have one of these? Then you're fucking beautiful. Go out. What you're doing is comparing an organic form designed by nature with an anorexic, airbrushed, erotic cartoon. It's never gonna match up. And if it does, it's gonna be gross. If you go out in this beautiful part of the country and collect one leaf from every deciduous tree and one needle or pine cone from every conifer, take them all over to the Javits Center and lay them out in a vast array, and then go through them one by one, you will not find one that's not fucking gorgeous. There's some that are super fucked up compared to that other one. But those trees aren't worrying about it. Yeah, being an elm is okay, but have you seen the sycamores? They're fucking amazing. It's all beautiful. Do your friends and family, do your loved ones give you affection? It's because you're beautiful. If you're not getting enough affection, try upping the hygiene. You're beautiful, just wash it. I eschew the mirror as much as possible. We have a mirror in our foyer. I keep my keys and my pocket items there. When I'm leaving the house, I get my keys, my knife, my vice grips. Good to go. And I'm out the door. Just give it a glance. If you have leaves in your hair, that should be addressed. Draw a line. Avoid the mirror. Number 8. Maintain a relationship with Jesus Christ. If it is getting you sex. I love that pause. When I was in high school, there was a cheerleader who was also a ballerina who was also a born-again Christian. Fucking hot. Right? So hot. I was obsessed with her. She was super smart, super funny, charisma coming out of her ears. I wanted her. The problem was she would only date you if you went whole hog, full-on born-again Christian, which would have been insane. So I did that. I go, where? Yeah, and I cry, and okay, great.